Welcome back to the channel, guys. I am selling the most profitable vehicle I've ever had on the platform. 12 months on the platform and over $33,000 in revenue. And I'm selling. Am I making a mistake? And what are my reasons? Let's jump in. Alright guys, welcome back. As many of you know, I'm talking about my 2020 Rapid Blue C8. I cashed it out just a few weeks ago, and this could be, looking back, it could be one of my bigger mistakes. But I have my reasons for it, and I'm going to give you them, and then I'd like to get your input at the end. Did I make a mistake? Did I screw up or not? But let's look at the first reason is, number one is I'm just too far ahead on the car. The car's brought in over $33,000 in revenue. It's actually been on the platform for 15 months, but I lost 3 months because of some damage. And when you have a newer car like that, a lot of times it can be an issue getting parts and so forth. And so damage claims can be a problem on a sports car like that. So, but the bottom line is I'm still way too far ahead on the car, and whenever I get to a certain point where I'm this far up, sometimes I will consider cashing out just because it's the wise thing to do. As you know, I've told you many times before, you only profit on the car once you sold the car. It's the same thing with stocks. Just because your stocks are up 200% doesn't mean you've profited until you actually sell the stocks. And you have to decide, is it better for me to holding that stock long term or cashing out and securing some of those profits? So it's the same thing in this business. Once I'm so far up on the car, I had to look at it as a wise decision to take some off the table as far as that goes. If you've heard the Kenny Rogers song, you got to know when to fold them, you got to know when to walk away, and it's the same way in any type of investing or even in the Turo business. So there's an old idiom that says pigs get fat, but hogs get slaughtered. And the point is, don't get too greedy. Once you have a certain amount of profit, once you have once you're content with how much profit you have on that car, then sometimes it's a good time to get out and secure those profits. The Wall Street version of that is bulls make money, bears make money, but pigs get slaughtered. And the bottom line is sometimes if you wait too long, you can lose the profits that you had at one time. And so this is just a part of my business in when I'm this far ahead, securing those profits, locking them in, and looking to put that into some other things, and I'll tell you what that is. Number two, even if you haven't watched my recent video on Is It Time to Sell, you know that used car values are at an all-time high. And for a vehicle like the C8, it's especially true. There's been a lot less production than that was planned due to COVID and due to some supply constraints and so forth. And so used C8s are at an all-time high right now. And for this vehicle, although the vehicle's bringing in averaging over $3,000 a month in revenue, if I continue to keep the car and rent it out, the ability to sell that car, the depreciation on the car, is going to cancel out a lot of the future revenue that I'm bringing in. And so I look at this as an opportunity where the values on the C8s are extremely high. As they make more production this coming year and more cars are going out there, slowly those used car values are going to drop, especially cars like mine, which have a lot of miles on them. So as far as that goes. So I'm looking at this as I've been following, anytime I have a newer car like this, I'm constantly following the values of the vehicle. In this case, I was able to sell the car for substantially more than I paid for the car. And so anytime you can do that, and keep the revenue that you rented for 12, 15, 18 months, that is the safest way to do this business. And so I've been following the C8 values, and I feel like they've kind of leveled off at the top, and I've just started to dip going into the winter season. And so this is in my opinion, it's a place to cash out of that vehicle while it's at a high and not lose some of the depreciation moving forward. So number 3 is, as I've already mentioned, I've had 2 incidents with the car. One, a minor accident, the other, a physical damage to the car. And when I have newer cars, and this can translate to any of the newer vehicles that you have, once you have one accident, you can get away with that as far as trading value on the car, selling the car. When you have 2 accidents, you really don't want 2 or 3 accidents on a vehicle. If you got an accident on the Carfax and then you get a second accident, you really have to consider, is this time to unload the vehicle before that can affect the values of the car. So keep that in mind for any type of vehicles. Number 4 for me is the mileage and warranty. So this car's got, the C8 that I just sold has almost 20,000 miles, just under 20,000 miles, 19,700 miles. And that's not a lot of miles for a car on a Turo platform, but for a Corvette, especially a C8, that's a really high amount of miles. And in fact, it was pretty much the highest miles out there on the platform. So not on the Turo platform, but out there on the used vehicle market. And so I didn't want to, continue to rack up a lot of miles and risk losing some of the, positive equity that I have in the car. So I felt like it was a good opportunity. When you combine that, I'll say number 5 would be going into the slow month. And this is not a make or break for me, but December, January, or February, I had the car last year. And although it performs well throughout the entire year, those 3 months are obviously my lowest productive months. So if I can sell the car right before going into my lowest 3 months, that prevents me from losing out a lot of short-term income as well. So number 6, I'm moving my profits to real estate. And this is something that I recommend if you're using the Turo business as an investment. Don't spend your profits. Use those profits and invest at least a good portion of those profits into some other things. And I'll do a future video on about 5 or 6 different things that I take my profits from the Turo business and put it into some other investments. And one of them is real estate. So I'm looking at the real estate market, and although it's been kind of on fire recently and the home values have gone crazy, just like the used cars values, you also have to look at some other things. Our rates are at an all-time low, and which has contributed to some of that. But the Fed has just confirmed that they're going to raise the rates 3 times this coming year, the next year. That's going to affect a lot of things in the real estate market. So I look at this is a great time for me to cash out on one side of my business, take that profit and invest it into real estate. And now we're going into the housing market has cooled off some. December, January, February is a time where there's a little bit less buyers. A lot of people don't want to move and try to buy a house around the holidays or in the middle of winter time. And so it's an opportunity where I can lock in extremely low interest rates for a housing purchase, but at the same time, I'm not competing with quite as many people as I would have been 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 months ago. Those are my reasons. Stay tuned because I got two videos coming. One is, what did I replace the C8 with? What vehicle did I replace it with? Hint, it's sitting behind me. So I'll do a whole video on that and why I broke one of my own rules of purchasing a brand new luxury car. And what is the reasoning for that? Why would I do such a foolish decision as purchase a brand new luxury vehicle? Next is the second video I will be posting is I'm going to do a full breakdown on the profit on the C8 dollar for dollar, so you can see exactly what was brought in, exactly what was profit after taking out all expenses, and hopefully it'll be helpful for you on making purchases moving forward. So until next time, I'm out, and I'm looking forward to a great new year coming in the business, and I hope you are too. Thanks.